Good day, everyone. You're welcome to Skillworks Podcast, where we talk about everything tech, productivity, career, how the tech ecosystem is affecting the world at large, and how you can participate and earn in this digital economy. My name is Future Johnson, and I am excited to be your host for this podcast. So today we'll be talking about something really exciting. I believe everyone that is watching this will be eager to hear about it. Okay, so I won't be doing this alone. I have someone that is prestigious, someone that has been in the tech ecosystem for more than 10 years. And he is also the CEO of Skillworks. You're welcome, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Future. My name is Iyalla, and I'm the founder of Skillworks.
So I want to start this way. Seeing the reality in Nigeria today, a lot of young people are into school. They are going to school, right? But at the same time, we see that tech skills are opening doors faster than the traditional degrees. So what do you have to say about this?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenge we have in Nigeria is the type of education that we are giving out, the way we are educating our youth in Nigeria. I know I'm not the only one that has been complaining about this. We have said this over and over in Skillworks
Yeah.
that our education system needs to be overhauled. I wanted to say improved, but yes, they need to be overhauled. Now, we have a problem in Nigeria. We have a country to build. When you want to build something, the right thing to do is to build the talent that will build the thing.
Yeah.
I remember sometime Bill Gates made a statement, and most Nigerians just overlook that statement, but it's actually a very instructive statement that Nigeria should actually focus on building its people
Yeah.
before it focuses on building the roads. Now, we want to build a country, but countries don't just build themselves. It is people that will build the country.
Yes.
If you want to build the country, what's the right thing to do? Build the people first, and the people will now build the country. In Nigeria, we are running helter-skelter, looking for different methods of bringing solutions to different problems. But the people that will bring the solutions, we've not taken our time to mold them, to build them, to train them so they can actually solve the problems we have in society. This brings us back to your question. Our education system is not designed to help us build the country we want to have. And that is why a lot of people are beginning to realize that going to spend 4 years, which sometimes even expands to 6 years, to 8 years, going to spend 6 years of your time in the university, graduate, and it's at that point that you start beginning to think of what to do with your life. It's no longer working for a lot of Nigerians.
Yes.
People actually want to look for things that they will learn and will be readily applicable to the society they are living in, so that they can actually not just earn a living, but contribute meaningfully to the development of the society of which they are a part of.
I really must agree with you, because I feel like what Nigeria needs is more human capital development rather than just sending people to school, people graduating and coming back with just degrees and not having what to show for it. So this brings me to the next question. So what have you noticed about Nigerian job markets in general? Because we have people graduate from school and then they start looking for job, but we don't have people who are really skilled and qualified for those jobs. So what have you noticed? What's your experience?
I think this point I want to make will support the point I made previously, talking about the weakness in our education system. In 1997, the then Prime Minister of Singapore, late Lee Kuan Yew, was asked why he excluded poetry from their university program, and he made a statement. He said poetry is a luxury they can't afford at that time. Now, why did he make that statement? As at that period, Singapore was still a very young country. And as humans, we all know that our time is very limited. And if you send a young person in his very early 20s, or in some cases in his later teenage, maybe 18, 19, to the university, and he's going to spend time to study a course that might not be readily applicable in the society he's living in.
Yeah.
You bring this young person out of university to wander the society. It's not going to have a direction to follow. Now, when the then prime minister made that statement, his argument is the time the country is going to use to send young people to the university to study courses like poetry, for example.
Yeah.
They finish studying poetry, they come out to the society. For a society that is still at a very infant stage, they're still trying to build roads, build cars, set up industries, and then you have sent these young people to go and study poetry. They have come. How do they fit into the puzzle of the society? They become confused.
Yeah.
And that was why the then minister made that statement, the then prime minister made that statement that poetry is a luxury they can't afford, because the time they have, or the time we all have as humans, is actually very limited. You spend 4 years in the university studying poetry, you come back to a society that is trying to build roads, build houses, build cars, build financial institutions. How does your poetry fit into this architecture? It won't fit in. So what we advise is that our education system should actually emphasize on skills and even degree programs that are practically applicable in the society we are living in.
Yes.
So back to the job market. Now, in my industry, in tech, for example, I want to build an app. I'm in Port Harcourt. I want to build an app. I discovered that most of the talent that I need to build this app is very difficult to get in this place.
Yes.
I might actually need to look for talent in other cities and bring them here to do the work, or I have to employ people remotely to do the job. And meanwhile, we have 1,000,001 youths looking for jobs. So what do? We need to connect the jobs with the skills, the available jobs, and train people to fit the available jobs. That disconnect is why we have so many unemployed people.
Yes.
So this is what's happening. You have 1,000,000 jobs waiting to be filled. You have 1,000,000 youths looking for jobs, but they can't fit into the job because they don't have the skill to fit into those jobs. So what do? We know these jobs.
Yeah.
Why don't we train these people so that they can fit into the job? Once the labor market and the skill development market can find a perfect fit, I think we are going to solve a bigger problem that we have in this country, which is the problem of unemployment. And the good thing is that when this problem is fixed, industries will spring up from everywhere. So I think the unemployment problem we have in Nigeria is actually a serious deficit in skill problem that we have in Nigeria.
Very true, sir. What all you have said is correct, I must say. So there has been this argument about degrees and skills. A lot of people say school na scam, right? People prefer learning tech skills. So I want you to explain if there is a balance between it. Because most persons, they are now choosing not to go to school. They just want to learn skills. So where's the balance between these two, getting a degree and getting a skill?
Okay, so recently, Elon Musk, I believe you all know Elon Musk.
Yes.
He said he's the richest man in the world. So he put up an argument that he doesn't think that people should go and spend 4 years in the university to learn certain things. I support his argument to some extent, even though there are courses that I think people actually need to go to university to study. These are courses like medicine. You know, those are specialized courses. However, I studied computer science myself, but I can tell you that the things you will spend 4 years to study in school in computer science, If those programs are designed properly, you can actually use 1 year, even 1.5 years to study the same thing. So why do I need to waste? Why do I need to spend? Let me not use the word waste. I take that back. Why do I need to spend 4 years to study something I can spend 1 year to study? So, and with the advent of artificial intelligence and social media, people have seen that they can actually get more value, outside the university than going to the university. If the university system wants to remain relevant in the current age we are in, they need to redesign their entire program. If not, I tell you this, very soon young people will no longer see the need to go to the university.
I want to know your stand between both degrees and skills. You already explained a lot, but I want you to clearly state your stand. Do you think people need to, like you said, they can just streamline everything to be 1 year, right, and the rest? So do you think it is still necessary for some persons that maybe before they go into school, they've already developed the skills, say a particular tech skill before they go into university? Do you think it's still necessary for them to still go to the university, or they can just continue?
Okay, for certain disciplines, yes. For disciplines in the medical field, I think you need to go to university. Why? Going to the university is going to help you build certain discipline, is going to help you build certain skill sets, not just academic skill set, but there are skill sets that the school environment will help you build that you might not be able to build outside the school environment. But these are for special programs, and I must emphasize they are for special professional programs such as medicine. Outside these fields, when you come to fields in certain professions that are not very sensitive, you might not need to go to the university. And I am not the only one arguing this. The world's richest man, who I think all of us will agree is an authority in this, is arguing the same thing, that we don't need to go to the university to do certain programs. It's not necessary. If I want to be a software engineer, for example, why do I need to go and spend 5 years or 6 years in the university? We have boot camps that people spend 4 months, people spend 6 months in, and you bring them, see them right next to people that have software engineering degrees, and the people that attended boot camps do way better than the people that went to university. I mean, this is enough proof, enough evidence that the 4 or 5 years or 6 years in some cases that is spent to study software engineering is not as useful. Do you get what I mean? Because at the end of the day, we are looking for results.
Yes.
If I can use 6 months to get the same result that I will use 5 years to get, I might as well use the 6 months and then use the extra 4.5 years to do other useful things in my life. Do you get my argument? So I'm not saying that university is useless. What I'm saying is that in certain areas, in certain fields, certain disciplines, especially in sensitive areas like medicine, yes, go to the university. Certain areas like law, go to the university, because you need to get or to build the competencies for those areas. That's my argument. We need to lay a solid foundation as to why people need to chase certain areas, why certain areas are very useful to the society, the economy of Nigeria, and why some are not so useful. That's the first thing I think we need to establish. And that was what brought me to the argument that I referenced the former Prime Minister of Singapore, where he argued that poetry is a luxury they can't afford. And I tried to explain that again, that certain fields are not practically or are not applicable at certain stage in the development of a society. Now, the next question we asked was, why is a disconnect between the job market and the skills we have in Nigeria especially? And I explained that this disconnect is actually the fault line in the way people are trained. Now, it is important for us to establish that we are not saying that universities are not important. I mean, I went to the university, I did a first degree, I did a master's. In fact, I did 2 masters and a PhD. So I would not outrightly say universities are not important. However, at this stage of our development in Nigeria, the major challenges we have in Nigeria are economic development. Our economy is in shambles. We need people that can build things. Look at China. China is developing because they are building things. Any country that does not build things, they might be physical goods and services, or they might be, digital services, but you must build things.
Yeah.
Any country that is not busy building things will always be in deficit, and Nigeria is always in deficit. For the last 20 years, our economy has always been in deficit, and this actually reflects on what is happening to the people. When we talk of GDP is actually a reflection of how productive we are as a country. If our GDP is low, what does it indicate? We are very, very low productive. So we are actually low productive. We are not building things. So if you ask me, the skills or the competencies that a country will need at this point of its development are skills that is going to enable us to build things.
Yes.
Like I said, the things can actually be physical goods or they can be digital goods, but we must build things, and that is what we need to do. Now, to build things, there are different components that has to connect. We have people that are going to handle the finance, people that are going to handle maybe project management, people that are going to handle there are different, I can't think of some of them now, but there are different areas that needs, different components that need to come together for things to be built. And those are the competencies that I think we should be focusing on. Yes, everybody's talking about industrialization. Good. For Nigeria to become industrialized, we need power. Actual power, electricity. People need to build it. So we need to train people that are going to build the turbines, the power system. After you have the power system, you have machines. You need people that will actually build these things. The machines are built. You need people that will operate the machines. People that are going to look for where the raw materials are to bring the raw material. There are different components to these things, and that's where I think our education system should actually focus on. Why do I, as a person, and this is a very subjective opinion, why do I think that tech skills are actually the area we should focus on in Nigeria? Now, we have been trying for decades to industrialize Nigeria. It's not working for us. I hope it will work for us someday. We have millions of young Nigerians in the country. They are looking for what to do. They are coming out of school in their millions. They don't have what to do. The world needs tech. The world is hungry for tech products. Why can't we train our people to solve these problems for them, to build tech products for them? Do you get my argument? And tech programs are cheaper.
Yeah.
They are cheap. Their tech skills are cheaper to invest in. To teach someone to become a software engineer, for example, what does the government need? They don't need much. Make sure that there is high-speed internet. They have access to good devices. They have access to good instructions. It's as simple. And these are things that are easily achievable. You don't need to spend billions of dollars to get these things done. And that is where we come in. And that's why I've been pushing this thing for years. And I pray one day they get to understand this message we've been preaching for long and it gets to the right ears.
Yes, sir. This is very inspiring. Like having to hear you talk about all of these things. Um, I believe that, like you said, the government has a role to play, right, in teaching and making skills available to people, to the youth. However, we must not deny the fact that they have been doing, although they still have to do, but we still have most youths that are not ready to commit to learning these things. Most of them they learn, right? But they don't commit to practice over time. So what's your advice for those set of people? What's your advice generally for youth out there concerning this tech?
Okay, so I think that for youth that don't have a direction, the government again has a role to play. One reason why we elect people to represent us is so that they can bring programs and systems that will help people to help societies solve problems. If you have people that are not inspired, you can't get much from them.
Yeah.
So the government is actually responsible for developing programs that will make our young people see the need to be productive. That's where I think it starts. People are not productive because they don't see the need for it. Government should develop programs that will make people to see the need to be productive.
Okay, so that's aside providing the skills for them. So you mean they need to provide platforms where people can understand?
No, they need to develop programs that will make them see the need. The need,
okay,
yes.
Okay.
Because if I don't see the need to learn a skill, why should I do it?
Okay.
You get what I mean?
You understand?
People are growing up, they get to a certain age and they're not inspired again. And where does inspiration comes from? Comes from the society. If they don't have things in the society to inspire them, we will lose them. It is actually the responsibility of the government to make sure that people are inspired to acquire the right skills. And then people will now act on the inspiration. Without the inspiration, there's not much that can be done. Do you get what I mean?
You understand?
There is something in the Bible that if you show people the vision, they'll run with it. So let government show people what to run with. If there is nothing for them to run with, I mean, there's no more that can be done.
Thank you so much, sir. It has been an amazing ride all through this podcast, and I hope to have time to talk to you again some other time. And I believe that you, my audience, have really learned a lot from this podcast. So if you have any question as regards what we have talked about, please do well to drop it in our comment section so that we would have time to answer your questions. And do not forget to follow us on our socials at Skillworks. Please do well to have a pleasant day. Thank you.
Thank you.